Happy Friday to everyone. Good to see you all. Excited to finish off the week. What a great way to finish off the week. Two friendly face, well, a friendly face and a friendly avatar,
Yeah.
CC and SK. We are here to do, it's kind of turned into a tradition. I don't know if it's been monthly or bi-monthly, but kind of an elephant update and just kind of want to see how things are going. Again, I'm in many projects, so I don't pay super close attention to projects the way I probably should, especially since I have significant amounts invested in them. But I rely on people like CC and SK to hop on and tell us all what is going on. So, first off, hello to the audience. Thank you guys again. You are the reason that I'm connected with all these wonderful people, is because you guys watch my stuff. So I appreciate you guys being here. G Videos, From Rugs to Riches, Ben, Funny Turo, Arvin, Darth Knight. Good to see all you guys. Question of the day to get us started. What's the weather where you are? Because we have had sub-zero weather here in Lincoln, Nebraska. 17 inches of snow, and I am ready for spring or moving away. So that's where I'm at right now. But let me know how the weather is where you are. Maybe I'll move to where you live if the weather's good. Who knows? We'll see. I'll have to talk with my wife, but we'll see. Let's go ahead. I've had you guys on a lot, so a lot of people know you, but in case we have a few stragglers who've not seen you before, can we do quick introductions? We'll start with CC and then we'll go over to SK. But CC, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump over to SK.
Okay. All right. Hey, I grew up in the Northwest, went to University of Oregon, became a counselor, have had a 12-year career as a middle school counselor, and then 12 more years in real estate, and 30 years professionally as a musician with my wife, and now my daughter's joining me. And I've just crossed 2 years in DeFi and crypto, and really happy that in about February of 2023, I really discovered the community of Elephant Money, which for me has become a university education, not only in Elephant Money, but in crypto and in investing overall, because of the incredible wealth of information from people who are very well versed within the community. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Jumping over to SK. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about yourself.
Hello. The name's SK Crypto K. I have been in DeFi for 3 years, and much like many others, I am on the chase, the hunt for the dream, for financial freedom. You know, I have a bachelor's of science in engineering. I am happy with my day job, but I think I'd be happier doing some crypto on YouTube full time. So join me on my journey. Happy to be here and talking about Elephant Money.
There you go. And yeah, go follow SK. I'll find a link to your YouTube channel. We'll get you on there as well. Quick hellos to some people in the audience. Derek, first, thank you for joining my community, man. Appreciate you being here. We got -5, so I'm not moving where you are. Arvin says it's cold where he is. I'll stay away. Martin, sorry, cold. I'll stay away. Jamaica, there's where I'm going. How's the weather in Jamaica today? That sounds nice. 57 and sunny, Destin, Florida. There you go. My brother owns a vacation home in Destin, so maybe that is where I'm headed to. CC Crypto Man, nicest guy in DeFi. Ooh, look at that. That's amazing. So again, appreciate you guys all being here. So let me turn the floor over to you guys here for a little bit. What's gone on since the last? What are some big announcements or things that we should be aware of if we are part of the elephant community? And audience, you can kind of start if you have questions or things you want us to address specifically. Again, this is the time to do it. We don't care if it's a little critical. If they're just straight insults, I'll probably ignore them. But if you have questions or you want clarification, whatever, go ahead and ask. But CC or SK, take it away a little bit. What's gone on since our last catch up?
SK, please, you take it. You're the master of transmitting information.
Thank you so much for the honor.
Yes.
Yeah, so a little bit of a rundown. I can't even recall the last time we were here, but just as a recap of 2023, we supply shocked for a second time, and we were on a monstrous run from July until the very end of September. Okay, and the chart reflects that. And since that time, a number of updates have happened, and also, the chart, even for the last 3.5 months, we've had a number of the top most whales, these trillionaire token holders that have taken their profits and gone elsewhere, probably with the Bitcoin ETF news and what have you. So in all of that volatility, we still have a Bertha treasury that has grown in the meantime, and we'll reflect and we'll talk about more of the 2024 roadmap. But some of the other highlights that have also happened are the facts that Trunk token, if we remember, it was backed and ultimately lost that backing after the $330 million flash loan. But now with Trunk, when it used to be a stable coin, right? BT wanted to think ahead as far as avoiding regulatory scrutiny from stable coins, quote unquote. So Trunk is no longer inflationary. So Stampede has been migrated into the Trumpet staking contract. The farms have been discontinued. And so now Trunk is no longer inflationary. So theoretically, and especially with Bertha in the background, buying and burning Trunk token, it is now a deflationary fixed asset. And Trunk can theoretically go well above $1. No more of that stable coin stuff. So that's one of the major updates, as well as more recently, a variable rate has been introduced on futures, which used to be 0.5%. And that, again, was to avoid future regulatory scrutiny, but also keep Bertha in a position to where she doesn't get drained by serial claiming, hyper compounding, anything of that nature. And now we're in a situation where we have a really large sized Bertha at nearly 200 trillion tokens. And now we're on a mission just to drain the LPs so we can get our third supply shock for the third year in a row. But we're going to talk all about it.
Okay, very good. Now that's a great general update. So when you would you say sentiment is still good in the community and everybody feeling good, or what's kind of sentiment around the community?
Well, I'm going to go from my perspective. Because what I really enjoy doing is watching people who are really successful in crypto and in their lives. There are people who clearly have done well financially, and they're well entrenched in elephant money, and they are on every live possible, and they are contributing, and when I see those folks, they're super positive because they get it. Anytime there's a change, as you well know, James, you've been in this game for a while. Anytime there's a change, a lot of people will come out upset and saying, well, we signed up for this and now you're changing that. That's basically the summary. And what's interesting about that is the changes are meant for this to continue, so that everyone can have a chance. I mean, we've all seen things crash and burn because they didn't make changes, or they didn't think things through. The developer didn't know how to make the appropriate changes. We have an experienced developer who does. And so it gets challenging when those voices just start crying out negative stuff. However, we have an excellent set of admin, and we have a whole bunch of other folks who will respond calmly and with respect and just say, well, even the lowest rate is still actually, it's really good. It beats anything out there. Any traditional annuity, savings and loan, or anything is still excellent. And we should be, and as most of us are incredibly happy that we have a developer who sees around corners and looks several steps ahead and looks at the regulatory environment and looks at what needs to be done to make sure that we can have a future.
Yeah, no, really good points. And I'll add to that. Overall sentiment, right now with the recent updates that have happened to futures, people don't like change. But at the same time, okay, perspective needs to be given in the sense that this is nearly 3 years old. 2 months from right now, this protocol, this style of DeFi would have outlived all of the other styles of DeFi for 3 years. And James, that's an eternity in DeFi for one, with deep liquidity to boot. So, when you have a DeFi protocol And with the experimentation that's happening, and we all know centrally, Bertha and the elephant token is the key to the success of the protocol for all of these years. When updates happen, consumers, some of them want to become little fuddy-duddies, I call them. But at the same time, we've been here, done that. We have survived a $330 million flash loan attack. We have seen worse FUD than what people might think. And remember, there are people that just hate elephant money. There are the people that did the exploit to begin with, and there are people that want to amplify and pile on to the FUD. And you'll see random accounts that have never spoken before in their life just start popping out of the woodwork and start amplifying the noise. But we've seen worse and we've overcome. This is no different. So for the people that understand the ecosystem here, they're not tripping. I'm not tripping. Like, I'm good. Everyone's
Right.
good. CC's good. So,
Yeah.
Don't get drowned out by the noise and the fuddy-duddies. That always comes and goes. So not
The
worried.
fundamentals haven't changed. So
Right.
that's
Right.
still the same fundamentals.
Right.
Um,
There's a particular person who, just makes some arguments, and he says, "Hey, I'm asking the questions that other people want me to ask because they DM me and say this is great." And after a while, he's saying the same thing over and over again. And so, and he said, people who don't understand how things work are telling me, just these basic things of you seem over leveraged, but I'm doing really well, in crypto. So I'm not over leveraged. And I just finally said to him, do you really know if those people who are making comments to you don't know what they're doing? Because I've gotten to know these folks, and they really do know what they're talking about. What I'd like to do is I've created some slides
oh, nice.
because what we can do is a little of what we're talking about. People can also have a visual. Okay. So I've got a screen share set up. If you want to grab that, I think it should work. The yellow screen, is that happening?
I just see SKs. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Is it there?
Yes, but it's screenception right now.
Let me see. Okay.
I'll let you. Hey, while
So
CC, while you're getting that up, SK had some stuff up too.
okay, he does too. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll just add to that too.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
To add to some of the perspective here.
Yeah.
This when I go back to saying that this is a 3-year-old protocol, remember we have supply shocked for 2 years back to back in 2022, and this is the ingredients, okay, to a supply shock. How did elephant money in the year of 2022 outperform 100% of all DeFi assets, including Bitcoin, Ethereum? Okay, how did in 2023 it outperform 89% of all the same things? Now, the two ingredients of supply shock is a large-sized Bertha, which you can see right here. Back in 2022 March, she had an all-time high of 212 trillion tokens. Okay, and actually, let me put out trillion. And the LPs, okay, when we are buying out of the marketplace and it's in the hands of user wallets or Bertha, we drop the LPs below 100 trillion tokens. So at that time, we had a low LP count in 2022 and a large Bertha size. Okay. Now, then the infamous $330 million flash loan occurred in 2023. We were nursing Bertha back to health, and we still supply shocked. Okay. But Bertha was only at 174 trillion. She was still on her way, still in the hospital, still trying to recover and everything. But we still supply shock because we were able to drop the LPs down to 84 trillion tokens. Now, where does that leave us for 2024? Okay. We're going for the three-peat, James. The three-peat, the third time in a row, the third year in a row where we will supply shock again. And newsflash, look at Bertha's size. She's not quite at all-time high of 212, but we are sitting at 198 trillion. So Bertha's already in check. She is of size as 1/2 of the ingredients to supply shock. Now we focus on the LPs, 131 trillion right now. And this is as simple as looking at the longevity, resilience, liquidity of elephant tokens, still sitting above $73 million, mind you, locked. Okay. But we get these tokens out of the LPs, or we drain the LPs, and we put them in the hands of the users and or Bertha, and then we get our third supply shock. But this time, this supply shock will look a lot like the first one. A large Bertha, small LP size, no exploit that can knock this out. So this third repeat is going to be a lot like the first, and it's coming in 2024.
Okay, and that kind of answers Sonny went up and to the right. So we hopefully in 20. I mean, the hope is that it does that, soon, but sometime in 2024 is kind of what you're thinking.
Yes.
All right, there we go. And then CC, man, you guys are so prepared. Look at this. No one brings slides to my video. Congratulations on this. But yeah, CC, walk us through some of these slides.
Okay. Well, I love to illustrate the herd community. And so these are folks that we've all gotten to know. This gentleman goes by Money Man, and he posted this, on the Telegram chat. For all of you Elephant Money newcomers, welcome. I'm a friendly whale that will never dump on you. I've done my research, been invested since the beginning, have patience, and know that this is the way. I have lots and lots of elephant tokens, unlimited NFTs, futures, and trumpet. Please take all the time to learn all you can about EM, and you will see that this is your ticket to financial freedom, cash flow for all, your winning lottery ticket, your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then another one from, let me get to the right, to get my cursor up there so I can change the page. Here's another buddy of ours. Digita. This is his way of saying digital. Digita. When changes come out, people just, they focus everything on BT. So, he felt compelled to pop this out in response to some comments people were making. You don't know BT like I do. I worked with him professionally for over 20 years across 3 companies in fintech, and he's the real deal. There isn't a single global 100 company that doesn't use code he's written every single day. That's a fact. I've also been in the room with him across the table from people who lead some of the largest companies and have personal wealth in the bees. So I'm not sweating a thing. Also, if you want contractual assurances, you can buy a treasury bond or a CD at your local SNL. So these are deep community members, and it's great to illustrate what people are saying.
Yeah, I will say I love the elephant community. I say it every time, but you get just such a friendly, welcoming community compared to a lot of them out there, and so that's why I'm happy to bring you guys on month after month. And by the way, just so everybody knows, I'm not getting paid for this or anything. I bring on Elephant Money. I just like CC. I like SK. I like the community and just want updates. I have a bunch of elephant. I had a bunch of trunk. I have a bunch of unlimited. I have some futures. So just want to bring on and do updates. So love that. Do you want to kind of give us updates on how the different, I think sometimes people get lost in the ecosystem. Like the people who are in Elephant every day, they're very straight about, okay, there's Elephant token, there's futures, there's the unlimited. But I think the people who aren't in Elephant every day, who are in many, many projects, get kind of lost. And they're like, what's going on in the ecosystem again? So do you just want to kind of give an update on how I think probably the 3 main parts of the ecosystem are the unlimited, the elephant token, and the futures, correct? Do you want to kind of just give an update on how those 3 aspects are going? And also keep in mind, too, that people who aren't in, who are thinking about getting into the ecosystem, I always like to ask, too, what's the best way to get in? Should I get an unlimited NFT? Should I put some in futures? How do I think through that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think starting off with the elephant token, when you look at the 3 pillars, it's all fundamentally built atop the elephant token, right? Which we all should know by now, hopefully, unless you're new, but it is a fixed supply at 1,000 trillion tokens, or 1 quadrillion, some people like. And of that 1,000 trillion, half of it's locked away in a smart contract called the graveyard, which does a little rebalancing trick every so often. But that leaves on the table 500 trillion tokens, okay? And that is split between the participants Bertha, and the LPs, the marketplace, right? And the more we drain out of the LPs and get into the hands of participants or Bertha, supply shock ensues, which was that last graphic that I showed. Now, once we get that next supply shock, that's when, you have these other front office products, and I'll start with the NFTs right here on my screen. But with the NFTs, these are currently at a mint price of 2 BNB. Every 10,000 mints, floor price doubles. So next round will be 4 BNB. After that will be 8 BNB. And every time your floor price doubles, so too do your holdings, basically, right? If you wanted to sell it over the counter, you could, and you could definitely make a profit if you bought in the earlier rounds. Now, in the meantime, and if you think of this like real estate, you bought an NFT, which is kind of like a plot of land, and over time, you hope that that plot of land appreciates in price, its value, right? Which that happens here; it's baked in. In the meantime, you're collecting rent on that real estate that you bought. And in this case, for the NFT, that rent is coming to you in the form of elephant token. So as the elephant token supply shocks and appreciates in price, so too do the value of your rewards. So you can see right now, over the course of however many months, I've earned 3.27 billion tokens at a value of $900. But if elephant token 10x's, well, so too does my $900. That becomes 9,000, doesn't it? So this is a really early opportunity to get into these NFTs, and you basically would mint them and then you would stake them. So then you get a cut of Bertha's 1% APR. So that's the NFTs. The other update really is when it comes to Trunk Trumpet. No longer do the farms exist. No longer does Stampede exist. Everything has been rolled into a fixed supply deflationary token that is Trunk, and the staking contract associated with it called Trumpet. And the Trumpet price is basically just a ratio. It takes 2.56 Trunk token to get you 1 Trumpet. The interesting thing about Trumpet is that this ratio, this price, always goes up. Why? That's because there is a 5% fee collected on the way in and out from users. In addition to Bertha has an outflow that on the daily is buying Trunk and burning half of that Trunk, and with the other half, minting Trumpet and burning Trumpet. So when you burn that Trumpet, when Bertha does it, this price goes up. So long term, you're looking at a token and a staking contract, which will moon right behind the elephant token when it trailblazes everything. So there's that. And then lastly, you've got futures. So right now, a variable yield has been introduced. Okay, and this is a relationship between the daily liabilities and the BNB reserve. If you remember, James, futures used to be BUSD. Remember that? But
remember,
we know that BUSD is going away, right? We have to move away from that. So instead of a BUSD buffer pool, he switched this over to a BNB reserve, which does fluctuate with with the price of BNB, and also this just handles small claims. But if this is low in amount versus the daily liabilities, and this is a 0.5%, if 100% of the people were all to claim out, this is what you would see. This is not what's coming out every day. But between that relationship, you've got a new daily variable rate of 0.17, not 0.5. Now, this is a sticking point for some of the people right now until it fades away and until version 8 comes out. But for example, if version 8 comes out, if you make a deposit of 200 BNB, which, oh, by the way, it's BNB in and out, right? So $200 worth of BNB at the time. If you make a deposit, let's say you get a bonus of 0.2 stacking on top of this group rate. So this would become 0.37, for example, right? That you're earning off of. And then there's going to be a 45 or a 60-day decay of that bonus shrinking until you make your next deposit. So as far as annuity style projects, it's still amazing. And if anyone wants to pause the screen, if you're watching the recording later, but you still end up with these rates right here. And depending on your weekly, monthly, or quarterly compound schedule, you're still getting double-digit APY, no matter how you slice it. And the variable rate ultimately is a temporary thing. Once we drain the LPs and the system's healthy again, 0.5 comes right back. 0.5 comes right back because Bertha's then able to top up the this BNB reserve on a daily basis. Because right now there's a sweep button, and anytime someone hits sweep, this amount of money, so $117, will jump right over into the BNB reserve. I know I just threw a lot at you, James, but those are some of the updates.
Yeah, no, those are updates. So that's good. So when we talk about, is there anything that people need to do with trunk? So like I have a whole bunch of trunk, and that's probably one of the more common questions I get is people got trunk back in the day, and then now they're, what do I do with trunk? I don't want to do any of the new stuff. I just have my trunk. So if you have trumpet, are you able to cash that out, or are we waiting on that, or what's kind of the status of trumpet?
Yeah, it kind of depends on your risk tolerance, right? If you just want to trade Trunk because it is a fee-less token, right? And Trunk will be listed on centralized exchanges, by the way, so it's going to be really fun to see what happens there. But if you want to trade Trunk, just hold it liquid and then just play around with the chart. I think it's like at 6 or 7 cents right now. But if you're in it for the long term and you really believe that Trunk can go well past $1, then you might as well stake it into Trumpet, because this Trumpet ratio price is always climbing, whether people are minting Trumpet or redeeming it, and especially with Bertha burning it. So this will always go up. So yeah, if you're in the long term, get into Trumpet staking. So then theoretically right now, James, if you threw 10,000 Trunk tokens into Trumpet and you wait for this ratio right here to double, that means you'll pull out double the amount of tokens you put in. So you'll take out 20,000. You know what I mean? So this is just a staking contract.
Okay, gotcha. So if people had stuff in Stampede, they need to go move it over to Trumpet?
Yes, there's a transfer button now. So if you have anything in Stampede, go check it out, and then it'll just say transfer to Trumpet. You just click the button and boom, you're in.
Okay, and I actually did have to do this. I'm just going to show my screen here just for a minute, just so people know. Because I don't check as often as I should. That's one of the things people criticize me for. But if you go over to this retired here, you can actually go check out. I had a bunch of trunk in Stampede that I just had to connect, and then I was able to transfer it on this page. So I can't remember if I clicked there or where I clicked, but I was able to transfer it over to Trumpet.
Yes.
So don't forget to do that. I just did it now, so you're not too late. I hope, because I just did it now.
Yeah,
so
exactly right. And the last thing, if I can go back to the screen on Trumpet, I will highlight that all of the previous Stampede balances, they've all been unlocked. So if you had 100,000 Trunk tokens locked up, all of that went into Trumpet now. So the supply, even though Trunk is not inflationary, the supply still goes up as people migrate. Okay, but I wanted to highlight this right here because Bertha is now buying Trunk and burning it. And we can see right now over 500,000 Trunk tokens have been burned off of a total supply of like 105 million right now. So this happened in about a month and some change, right? What happens when Bertha gets bigger? What happens when we supply shock? What happens when Bertha's buying way more Trunk on a daily basis and burning way more Trunk to shrink that 105 million supply? It's going to get really interesting.
Okay, gotcha. Let's go to some audience questions. Yeah, audience, get the questions going. That's why we have these guys on here, so that you don't ask me, you ask the experts. So let's bring some of these up here. You kind of mentioned this, SK, and you kind of talked about it. Why did we go from a fairly consistent 200 to 300K BUSD buffer pool servicing futures to the BNB reserve not being able to maintain the 0.5% yield? Is that just too many people claiming, or what was kind of the cause of that?
Couple of things. We had to move away from BUSD for one, but largely, and I'll show the chart, it's because of those two ingredients that I said for supply shock. You need a large Bertha, which we have now, but you also need a draining LP, right? But when you have some of the top whales, which, most recently we had the largest whale, matter of fact, James, they had 8.2 trillion tokens, and they just giga dumped and redistributed all those tokens back across other people and into the marketplace. But when you have sell pressure like that and you're unwinding the supply shock that has occurred, Well, then you get a cheaper elephant price, which also means a smaller dollar value in Bertha, right? So if futures was to maintain a static 0.5% daily, you could find a situation to where the people that ultimately are claiming out are needlessly draining Bertha. And we already know Bertha is the central figure to the entire operation. So really, having a variable rate based on the health of the ecosystem buys Bertha time from getting drained, buys people time to learn the protocol and understand supply shock is within grasp once we just drain some of the LPs. So yeah, I thought it'd be nice to show the chart. And really, I think most of the people with deep liquidity on this chart, and you've had upwards of 10 or 15 million dollars worth of sales, and yet we're still standing with 73 million dollars in liquidity. I mean, that says something about the strength of this protocol. And this is that 8 trillion sell right here. And then you see we're just still in the flats. We're still accumulating. Bertha's still growing. Supply shock is coming. People just need to understand the gravity of what the elephant token represents and why this is still a fantastic play.
You know,
Okay.
if I could jump in real quick, things that this project has gone through, multiple changes and the flash loan attack would have killed most projects, and this project is thriving. And so, those of us who, we've been rugged, we've been scammed, and we study, we understand and appreciate that. And so that's a huge sentiment of the community. And so one thing I'd like to do is if you could grab my screen again, I'd like to just quickly read to you some comments that BT made at the beginning of a 3-hour voice chat from yesterday. So, and I emphasize 3 hours because some of those projects that we've gotten rugged and scammed and stuff, we never heard anything from the developer, or the developer disappeared, or he wasn't doxxed, he didn't have a LinkedIn account. There are people who've been in projects with BT for 7 years, and his first project Flow is actually still going. There are folks who've been with him for 7 years because he communicates. He says what he's going to do, and then he does it, and then he explains the reasoning behind it. He does in the front end, and then he addresses people's concerns. So for 3 hours, he was willing to be up, talk, hear people's questions, answer. But what he did in his intro, he put things into perspective in my mind in what he said. This is basically quoting him. He said he's gotten DMs saying that it helped save their bacon during the bear. This is referring to futures. But futures is not the standard bearer of the ecosystem. It's not going to be competitive in a bull run. Futures and Stampede allowed us to perform in a bear market when others couldn't. The other legs of the stool have always been in play. They created value and have helped propel us forward. Futures will do that in a bull market. I didn't realize I was doubling up here. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to get back to the second half of that document. Let me grab it real quick.
No, you're good. I'm just
Yeah.
impressed you have slides.
Oh,
But,
I'm just gonna read. I'm gonna read the second part of what he said. Okay, so the only one standard bearer is the elephant token, the smart contract that has never been modified since the inception of this protocol. It sits at the center. Trunk token has never been modified since the inception. Both of these tokens have been the pillars of the community. So he built a smart contract network around these two tokens to be able to respond to market conditions, to respond to changes to regulatory environment as the crypto market matures. And now we have unlimited NFTs, which has not been modified since the inception. So he just explained to us the hierarchy, addressing a lot of the FUD. Oh my goodness, you promised us 0.5%. Well, he's explaining futures is a part of this ecosystem. It is not the foundation. It's not the flagship. It's a part of it. Elephant and trunk are at the centerpiece. Then futures is this other, it's another portion. He explains it like a menu of products. And he said he talks about how he's been in finance for 30 years. And he says in finance, your customers want one thing. They want yield. and he's provided multiple different menu items, and futures is one. And so shout out to DeFi J, a YouTuber who has started to do excellent videos. And one of the things he did was he started looking up annuities projects, because futures is similar to an annuity. And it's an excellent video where he looks up some annuities that you can go out, and he pulls up the kind of yield you get. It is peanuts compared to even the lowest of the returns in futures that are in futures is we've explained it that it needs to not drain the principal foundation, which is the Bertha and the elephant token.
Okay. Gotcha. And SK, I see some graphs on your page on your screen. You want me to bring those up?
Yeah, sure. Because I was looking at the comments and I see Scott, mentioning some stuff about mathematically sound. And so what I wanted to highlight again is the fact that this is a 3-year-old protocol. Okay. And you have something called the Lindy effect, which basically states that the longer something survives and thrives is proportional to how much longer it's going to continue to thrive and survive, right? And we've already outlived every other style DeFi like this. Last man standing, still with deep liquidity. Now, when it comes to the value capture that this protocol does better than any other, and why they've all died, okay? Elephant stands because of the mathematics, the supply shock that I'm talking about. So of the 1,000 trillion that I mentioned, you can see on this pie chart that half of it's in the graveyard, leaving the other 500 trillion available. We can see in green Bertha's size. She has a sizable chunk and she's still growing. The participants, the herd, has this blue chunk right here. And the more we buy out of the LPs in this, different shades of red, these will shrink. The blue and green will grow. Okay. And when that happens, we get supply shock for a third time. This is important because the value capture, shout out to Crypto Stu for this graph here, but the value capture in the treasury, when people are either buying and selling the token or minting NFTs or depositing into futures, all of those circle back to feeding the central treasury Bertha, with on this graph is in yellow. Okay. And this is updated as of today. This yellow is linearly going up. Tokens in Bertha's token count is going up. But you'll see the value capture that's happening in blue. Despite what's happening on the chart, her value is being retained. And that's because of the supply shockonomics, those two ingredients that I mentioned. And when you have this in conjunction with how everything works here, that's why you get charts like this, where Elephant for the last 18 months is still ahead of Bitcoin, still ahead of most of the Fortune 500 companies. Okay. This is very telling about the resilience of why this protocol still continues to be a success. And it's all because of that value capture. And one last thing I'll throw out there, Bertha has a multiplicative effect. So the current price of BNB is at $313. And if $1,000 comes in via minting NFTs or coming into futures, that hits the LP pools, right? That little bit of price appreciation jumps Bertha's value by 6x. Let me repeat that. $1,000 came in, but the value capture by Bertha is $6,000. Okay. That is value retained in Bertha, which is what you see on this chart. And Bertha is only responsible for paying out liabilities of futures and whatnot. So you have an incredible ecosystem right here for value capture that can really propel this to the third supply shock.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. So, yeah. And good questions, everybody. And again, appreciate challenges. And again, I think this is not if you hear what BT's doing and you're like, I don't like this. This isn't something I want to get into. This looks like a Ponzi scheme to me. Then it's not, it's not for everybody. And so I would never encourage somebody to get into it if you don't like it. But good questions, Scott. I appreciate you bringing those up. Scott is my sleuth. He keeps me honest. So he comes on and he really challenges projects to figure out what's going on. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Can you do bi-weekly or monthly deposits without claiming? Like, will it keep compounding? I think you mean in futures. Do you want to explain how the futures compounding works?
Yeah. Simply, it's a minimum deposit of $200 worth of BNB, and when you interact with this contract, your total value is locked. So I have like 72,000 total value locked in mine, and anytime I would add $200, whatever rewards in my available are built up, they will stack in addition to my 200 deposit into my total value. So you can grow this. It's a long-term contract. This isn't something where you're going to flip something within a year and get out way ahead. But you do grow by compounding with the fresh deposit.
Okay. Yep. And so that's kind of a unique mechanism where you can't just compound and compound and compound. We've seen a lot of projects where that ends up with just you get these huge balances. But to compound, you actually have to put more in. So that's a kind of a unique mechanic there that BT threw in.
Well, yeah, and the problem with the projects is we see them unwind really quickly.
Right.
They look amazing for a little bit, but unfortunately, the promises, they're way too big for reality. In fact, can I share my screen real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
This is from Blackberry Guy, another community member who we really, really, really appreciate, because he puts out detailed reports, and he has done multiple. In fact, let me see. This is the 86th report that he has put out. This is an extraction from that. This weekend marks the anniversary of the launch of Elephant Money Futures. It came out 1 year ago, January 21.
Wow.
So
seems like it was just yesterday.
That's how fast a year goes. And I am loath to get into new projects because of how fast they actually can crash and burn. So, my experience is my focus is here in the Elephant Money ecosystem, because I love sitting here saying, hell yeah, we're a year in and only getting better. So on futures launch date, the Elephant Treasury stood at 10,141,540 and 101.415 trillion elephant tokens. 1 year later, the elephant token stands at 54,373,198.344 trillion elephant tokens, 5 times the value and nearly double the token count. Many factors have contributed to the rise in the elephant treasury, but it is remarkable to note that 21 out of 23 of the top weekly token rises in elephant token have occurred during the 52 weeks of futures existence.
Okay.
Yeah. So even though it can be hard for new folks to understand, well, how does it all work well together? I told a new person, he said, I've been in for 3 weeks. I said, well, welcome to a university where your only tuition is time and observance and observation. After a while, these things will soak in, because there are so many different ways that you can study what is happening via pinned comments and posts on the main Telegram, via Medium articles, YouTube, charts and metrics. It only takes looking around, finding them, taking your time to study.
Okay. Love it. Love the slides too.
Thanks.
Let's see. How can we incentivize a lot of people to buy Elephant? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? But what's the plan marketing wise for Elephant, especially going into potentially a bull market? Which who knows? I mean, we got all these false bull market things going on, but what is the marketing plan for Elephant?
Yeah, no, really good question. So, kicking off with you actually is the next series of AMAs for one, James. So, thank you for this. Well timed. I know that over the next 3 days, there's 2 other AMAs that I'll be handling, and probably like 15 more for the next month. So, I'm part of that branch that's going to be getting the word back out there with folks. But in addition to that, the performance fund BT. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the NFT trick, but he is sponsoring more giveaways for these NFTs. When he made the switch from BUSD Treasury and futures over to BNB, all of that money was going to go to Bertha anyway, and he minted, I think, like 1,800 NFTs that still fed Bertha that $1.2 million. But now he's got marketing NFTs. So there's numerous contests across Medium or YouTube. So if you guys were thinking about jumping into the game, you could win a contest for that. But also, he's going to be reaching out to other influencers and getting those NFTs out there in the hands of people that are going to be talking about elephant money. So there's a number of things he has in mind. I also think that he's going to start ramping up Elephant Money's presence at conventions. So I want to say in June, there's like a Nashville Bitcoin convention, and Elephant Money will have a booth there.
Oh,
and
very
so,
cool.
yeah, he's going to be ramping up a lot of that. But really, the central messaging is just focusing on the elephant token. It's going to be basically the same play that I ran back, last July through September. Get the elephant token, figure out the rest later. Okay. But you have to expect the volatility. You have to understand that supply shock happens with a large Bertha and a shrinking LP. And if people want to take profits and the LPs get bloated again, you're going to get volatility, which is fine. But every time we have a run up, we establish a new floor and we go up. This was 2022's run up. This is 2023's run up. What is 2024 going to look like? Where's the new floor going to be? It's going to be really exciting. So the elephant token really sells itself when people look at the longevity, the liquidity, and the resilience that this has already undergone. Yeah.
Yeah. The market is right now kind of being led by meme tokens. Those are really that's kind of hot right now. And humans tend to be attracted to what's hot. And so, I had an exchange with Chris Farrell from London. Shout out. He does the Flying DeFi videos, weekly updates. Excellent job. And he and I are getting to know each other. And he said, our challenge is getting the average person who doesn't really know, how to get into crypto to kind of get past what they see. And they just kind of see Shiba, Doge, those, anybody I talk to who's just dipping their toe in the water, that's all they have. And so, just for me, I just see that the strategy is just stay the course, just keep at it as far as telling other folks about it. And over time, I just think it's a matter of time that elephant money becomes something that people know more and more about, because it's a steady Freddy,
Yep.
we're doing the right things. So it's kind of like, I liken almost everything to sports, because I'm kind of a sports fanatic. That's my favorite hobby, I love working out and I love watching sports, but then I do it because I study success. It's a way I can study success really, really well. And so, for example, one of my best friends has been a PGA caddy for years. And so it's neat for us to just kind of talk about the process. And golf is really, really hard. And so when you watch
Amen.
great golfers, when you watch them, like you watch the last round of the US Open, you see the look on their face, and all they are doing is just staying the course. And what I appreciate about Elephant Money and the folks who are creating the charts and doing the YouTube videos, we're sticking with the narrative, and we're just continuing with what we know is right, and we're
Yeah.
just going to keep doing it.
It's a
And
grassroots movement.
yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Just we're not going to change up our swing. We're not going to, we're not going to just take wild risks or try to look like something else. We're going to be Elephant Money, and we have the pedigree of someone who's 30 years in fintech as the leader. He communicates with us. We work as a team, and he's doing other things too. He really absolutely wants this to be for the right reasons. He talks about crypto being 90% men. And yet in our society, we have a lot of single women who are trying to do everything. They're having to be the parents and the breadwinners. And he says, can Elephant Money, especially futures over long term, help a single woman manage and have the ability to do more with less? So we're very, very proud that there are a lot of women who are inside this ecosystem. Layla, shout out to you in Australia. She makes song videos, and she's one of the admin on a major channel. She's incredible. We have wonderful women who, it's a place, it's a family friendly place on Telegram. We keep it clean. The admins are, have to keep it family friendly. That's very important to us. So we're just staying the course. BT also went out to Florida to Art Basel and sent 40 families to a camp where they normally would not have been able to afford to do that. And he went to Boys and Girls Club of America, and he is focused on that as being a foundation, a charity that he's going to have Elephant Money put our attention on, which is thrilling, because I grew up in a house that is about 400, well, gosh, maybe 400 steps away from our local Boys and Girls Club. And there are 3 murals on that, and my father is inside those murals because it is called the Edwin L. Coleman Jr. Boys and Girls Club of Emerald Valley. So there are just a lot of really real, true to the heart situations that just keep this engine going. It's the fuel in the motor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just to add to that real quick too, if you want to bring up my screen, but not only is BT's heart in the right place, he's not a nefarious actor. He's doxed out there, he's speaking at conventions, he's doing all this stuff. But coupled with the good heart that he has, you've got the mathematics that his brain came up with. Okay. And if anyone wants exposure to BNB, and you're looking at literally the top 3 holder of on-chain BNB in this Elephant Money ecosystem, which, I mean, I'll pull it up right here, but this is BNB. Who's in the number 3 spot? That is the BNB Elephant pair. That doesn't even include the BUSD pair to make up the $73 million in locked liquidity. But we have consistently outpaced BNB all of this time. And one of the other changes that have happened since we've last talked, James, too, is that the settlement with Binance, right? CZ has stepped down. He put his right-hand man in place. $4.3 billion were paid to settle all of that dark cloud that's been hanging over Binance's head for 2 years. Those same 2 years, we outpaced them, okay? And now Binance has a great future. I'm a BNB bull at this point. And you can best believe that with the bull run that's coming up in 24 and 25, BNB is going to pop off. And we're the number 3 holder. So we're going to appreciate in price along with BNB. And we have a supply shock mechanism with value capture on top of that. Get real, guys. Come on, think about it. Like there's a really bright future for Elephant Money. And the last thing, Scott, I appreciate your comments in there too. What I would say is like what CC mentioned earlier, we have a menu of items that are attractive at Elephant Money. It's not just the token, even though that's the central backing of everything. But when it comes to the NFTs, 100% of the value captured when people mint NFTs, guess what it does? It buys elephant token to stuff it into Bertha. Okay. Futures deposits, 90% of all incoming funds going into futures, 90% of those funds buys elephant token to stuff it into Bertha. And then you've got the token itself with the 10% inherent fee that's collected, and that goes to Bertha, which Bertha right here is the elephant treasury. That's what we mean by Bertha if you didn't already know, but this is what we mean. $54 million worth of elephant inside of her 198 trillion tokens. So yeah, at the end of the day, the NFTs, the elephant token itself is fantastic exposure to BNB, understanding that BNB has a really bright future. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Inspiring. So that's a good chart to show people too. I think that just how elephants compared to the other assets, I think that's pretty powerful for people. So awesome. Well, hey, this has been great. We've had great questions, great discussions. We will keep doing this as long as people come to watch. We'll keep doing this every month or every 2 months or whenever there's an update. So CC and SK, just keep sticking it on the calendar when you guys have something that and you're feeling the James Pelton itch, then just go ahead and schedule. Love having you guys. It's a good discussion. Let's go ahead and close with, for people who are watching who think, hey, I want to be part of this. We talked about this kind of at the beginning, but what's the best way for people to get involved with Elephant right now?
Yeah. Hey, if your link is out there, James Pelton, I would have any of the people that are watching this video partner with you, because they, instead of paying down 10% tax, could buy Elephant right off the main site for 8.5% fee collected. Okay. So that's where you want to start. Get this token while it is still the equivalent of a $13 Bitcoin. That's literally how early you are. Remarkably, the first 2.5 years of Bitcoin's existence mirrors Elephant's first 2.5 years of existence. The charts are damn near identical. It's crazy. So yeah, just start with the token, figure out the rest from there.
Okay. Yep. I think that's good advice. That's what I've been telling people. I've had some people ask me, how do I get in? And I say, just start with the Elephant token. Okay. It's very simple. You just buy it like a normal token and then you just hold it. And then if you want to start looking around at futures, you want to start looking around at the unlimited NFTs, you can do that. Hop in the Telegram, get to know the community. Again, I think the community is a big part of what's made Elephant successful up to this point. So definitely hop in there as well.
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
Make sure that you are on the official Telegram. Somehow scammers, oh my goodness, I don't know how they do it, but boy, they take their time to figure this stuff out. You'll get into the Telegram, all of you who are new, and you go away and with about your life, and then you're like, oh, let me check Telegram. Well, then you'll see like 2 elephant telegrams up there. You have to watch out. Make sure that you are, if you're starting, go to elephant.money. No other elephant website either. There was a fake one. It might still be up. Only elephant.money. Go to the Telegram. Make sure it's that link only. Make sure that you delete anything else. Do not answer any calls or DMs from somebody when you first get into that Telegram. And then you start to get to know the people. You will start to see, you'll see who the admins are. You'll see the folks who are excellent contributors right away. And then your brain will start to just totally understand the pattern of how things roll in the main Telegram chat.
Yep, absolutely. Do be very careful. I think CC, I sent you not too long ago, but there was actually a fake drip group that said, hey, you need to go here to transfer your drip. And when you click on the link, the first thing it did was, are you sure you want to sell all your elephant tokens? Was the first thing there. And if you're not paying attention, we get so used to just hitting approve, when we're connecting, we just hit approve on our MetaMask or whatever.
Right.
Be careful.
Watch out.
Be careful what you're doing. It could have made me sell, my 20K worth of elephant tokens. So good thing that didn't happen. So
well, awesome. And you did what we should do. You checked with somebody you trusted, somebody you knew, right?
Yep. Right.
And that's what we need to do. We get to know each other. We look out for each other. SK was one of the first people. Gediminas, first people who helped me to learn how to not be completely alone. So that's what we do in this in community, and we appreciate you, James. It's fun to look forward to these. You become a really good friend. Appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We do have one question about Alpha. Any news on when V8 Futures is releasing?
Oh, I'm in the 3-hour AMA that was in the Telegram chat yesterday. That very question was asked. BT doesn't like to give dates, but he did hint that it's not going to take 30 days. So sometime within a month, I'd guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and from experience, we never really have to wait for very long for him to do updates. You know, that is pretty much it. I mean, we can get so impatient in this crypto world. We will just want things right away. But boy, I tell you, BT does things real quickly. So I just kick back, go about my life, and all of a sudden it's done.
Yep. Next thing you know, it's there.
Yeah.
So, well, awesome. I'm going to go ahead first. Audience, thank you once again for joining us here today, and special welcome to the elephant community, the herd that it doesn't check out all my stuff, but appreciate you guys being here today. And then my regular guys, always appreciate seeing you guys. I never want to take you for granted. Funny Turo, you were on almost every video I do, and I appreciate it, man. Good to see you.
I was going to ask if he was here, and there he is.
Yep, Funny Turo's here. I've got to meet Funny Turo twice in person too, and he's equally cool in person.
Nice.
So appreciate you very much. And CC and SK, appreciate you coming on. And we'll see you again in a month or month and a half or wherever we're feeling. But it's good to have you guys, and we'll talk soon.
Yep. Thanks, man.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.